Well, I'm Leonard Harris. I'm a metallurgical engineer by profession. Born and raised in a mining town and lived in mining towns all over the world. I joined Newmont in 1975 and spent 22 years with them before retiring. But I really haven't retired. I continue as a director of several mining companies and a consultant to others.
My name is Rosa Harris, and I've been married for 53 years with this gentleman, Leonard Harris, and I've been doing work through, first of all, as a professional, secondly, as a mother, and as a president of the Ladies Association, Minera Yanacocha, Adaminja for Community Services.
In 1955, I worked for Cerro de Pasco Corporation, and there were very serious problems at that time between the communities and the companies in general, mining companies. It had a lasting impression on me, and incidentally, that's where I met Rosa. At the end of 1974, I was approached by Newmont to work with them in the same building in New York, and so I joined them and stayed with them for 22 years. The latter part of that work was to go to Peru to open the mine, which is now called Minera Yanacocha. The situation was very dangerous in Peru. There was two communist-led terrorist parties, and killing was prevalent, bombing was a daily occurrence, and they set out to take over the country and impose a communist dictatorship there. We formed the company in July of 1992 when terrorism was still raging in Peru. I think it was 11 superintendents. I called them to my office and I said that I don't want to see some of the nasty things that I've seen when I was in Peru before. We have to learn how to work with the communities, have a good relationship with them, and engage in projects to improve their lives.
Len and Rosa were very concerned about the safety and the security of the mine, with the Sendero Luminoso running around, with the terrorist activity and the bombings. And how were we going to keep our workers safe? How were we going to keep our families safe there? And they realized that if they created value with the mine for the community, that the community would protect the mine.
So I decided that I would invite all their wives to the city of Cajamarca to visit the mine and see what their husbands were going through, and of course Rosa as well.
The visit to this particular community, it was organized by the social worker of the company. Len have talked to her and said, you know, it will be important if we can organize group of ladies that they may want to do some work with the communities. I saw children of very small size, children with very prominent abdomens, and children with very light hair, like light brown hair type of thing, and the looks were very lost. I asked the teacher, what do they eat during the day? Oh, they do have lunch. And I said, okay, wonderful. I said, what type of lunch? So they said, oh, it's some milk that we receive from this World Organization CARE, and some biscuits. And I said, is that for lunch? That's all, until 2 o'clock that they leave the school. And they said, well, she said, I don't want to give it to them as breakfast because they don't have anything to eat all day. So Len asked me, so what was your impression about what you saw?
She said, the children are starving.
I said, the children are starving. They're in a malnutrition. And the point is this: if there is no brain, you're wasting your money, because there's no brain to make use of any books.
When a company goes into an area as remote as Catamarca area where Yanacocha is, there are a lot of social services that are needed, and usually these were taken by the government. Rosa essentially define some of these as the children, their lunches, their education, and so naturally it evolved that while Len is developing the mine, Rosa is doing the sustainability 12 years before it became popular to do that.
So I hired 2 doctors to go out and take a survey of these children in the communities, and they found indeed it was better than 80% malnutrition.
Malnutrition.
Better than 80% malnutrition. Now, what to do? We have to feed them, like Rosa says, and it's a bit of a dangerous situation to get into from a company point of view. If you start supplying food, how do you ever get out of it?
Right.
So we began then by the company, repairing schools, building new schools, with the help of the communities. Even the children helped with the building of the schools. We supplied the materials and that, and then introduced a school lunch program with this food that we could get from CARE. Rosa's organization supplied the pots and pans for the cooking. The community women themselves did the cooking, and the community supplied the fuel. And it really was a very good program.
The people from the community become your security. The company present in their area were friends, and they were not in a hostile manner trying to poison the waters, to steal their land, or to kill their animals, like our organizations were always telling them that claiming that the company was there to do just that. The company will act on good faith, and the community will understand that they need the company to help them to improve their lives, because the need was so great in all levels. The heart of the program came with the Ladies Association of Minera Yanacocha Araminja, because we dealt with the children, and that was our sole mission, just the children.
It was good for everybody concerned. It was good for the company.
Yeah.
It was good for the communities. And this model that we set up there at Minera Yanacocha has been taken elsewhere. One company in particular is called Glamis Gold. I was a director of that company, and they opened a mine in Honduras. And the president was giving a talk on the project in Switzerland. And the question was asked about him, what are you going to do about community assistance? He said, we're going to take Len and Rosa Harris's model and put it into Honduras. And that's what they did. And it worked there equally well. My advice to mining companies, at any stage of the game, right from exploration, they need to get involved with the communities.
If you look at Len's achievement in Peru, there's a legend. I mean, the first thing he would do is to meet with the people and say, let's help your church, let's help your school. Social. Before you introduce them to the technical side, let's uplift them. And so I think that is what Len, and of course, they say that behind every successful person there is a lady behind him, and that Rosa has been a great asset to him. And as a team, they have done wonders. And I hope that we continue to follow his example.
We can be grateful of Len and Rosa, and their contributions are not just in the project, I mean their project development, but in everything, sustainability of the operations.
I think that the American mining companies would be very much benefited by taking a page from Len and Rosa's book and helping with the local situation rather than concentrating on the net that they can get out of the mine. The net that they can get out of the mine is business and very important. However, the recognition of the needs of the area in which they're working should also be very, very important.
We are proud of being their friends, that we consider Len a distinguished Peruvian miner. He has gained a place in the hearts of all of us Peruvians that have the luck of knowing him. This is a well-deserved award.
Thank you for paying it forward. Thank you for all the friendship. Thank you for all the mentoring and all the different opportunities you've provided to all the metallurgists that you've known, Len, throughout the world, and all the children and difference in the lives that you've made in Peru.
They've been good mentors to a lot of people, and this award was long overdue, and finally it's here, so enjoy it.
And in Spanish, in my poor Spanish, I would like to say to Len and Rosa, gracias por todo lo que has hecho para la industria de minas, las comunidades y los niños. Nuestro mundo es un lugar mejor debido a ti.